Hi, Reese. Good
Hey,
afternoon.
hi. Hi,
Hi,
guys.
Harish.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Hi, Tatvita.
We are delighted. I think we were just discussing on hyperscaling with Shweta at an academy, and I know it's a favorite topic for you as well. You really have given a lot of results at Khata Book over the last 1.5 years. So really glad to have you with us. I think before we get started, I just wanted to also thank our partners. We have 23yards.in, which is a new platform along with Ravi Shastri for personal care products for men. And they are a gifting partner as well for the event. So wanted to thank them. And DigiGrad, which is a digital marketing training initiative by SocialBeat, and Influencer.in, which is a influencer marketing platform. With that, I would like to actually spend a couple of minutes to introduce Harish as well before we get started. Over the last 1.5 years, he's been driving a lot of growth at Khata Book, and both on the performance side and recently with a very interesting branding campaign with our ex-captain MS Dhoni, and a lot of us would have seen that on television and YouTube as well. So he's been part of those campaigns. Previously, he spent time at GrowFirst and in the many startups, including his own venture as well, in terms of scaling. And we're really delighted to have you, Harish, to share your
Thanks.
journey at Khata Book on hyperscaling and at GrowFirst as well. You've had a lot of impact across two big brands in India today. So really looking forward to that. I'd also like to introduce my co-moderator, Sachika, who will be, guiding on some of the questions over the next hour.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Great, Harish. To kickstart, just wanted to start with Khata Book's journey itself. I think 1.5 years back, hardly any of the small business owners or marketeers had heard of it. And from June last year to this year, it's I think I'm not sure of the official numbers, but it's in millions of daily active users and monthly active users. So how has that journey been? If you could share with us in terms of phases, that would be a great starting point.
Sure. So, yeah, I guess I'll start with December 2018, right? So that's when Khata Book officially started as such. So, initially, the idea is to come up with a bookkeeping app that remains merchants users to make sure that they get the money back. So that's a basic core proportion of the product as such, and that's how we started. And by May 2019, right, we hit a $1 billion transaction value within at a 6 months, 7 months gap. Since December 2018, we hit 1 billion, amount of transaction. So that itself was and if at all you look at marketing assets, right, we started since June end or July, I'd say. So the initial 1 million plus monthly transacting users that we had, during August 2019, most of them was organically driven, and that basically gave us, I'd say, trust on our product, saying, okay, we are hitting the right chord now. How do we scale things further, right? That's when marketing came into picture. So I guess I remember Ravi showing me the hockey stick curve of from the Google Play console, which was like just climbing, right? Now how do we double upon that? How do we the basic core idea is to make sure that we digitize each and every merchant who's there in India. So that's how things started, and by Feb 2020 we were hitting a transaction amount of $8 billion of transaction value. Now, that's the scale at which we were doing things. And I think post again COVID hit, and COVID maybe saw 50% decrease in our active users. As soon as the lockdown was imposed, and something that was again very promising for us during that time was that the basic things like medical and kirana stores or merchants from that category, grocery category, that didn't see a hit at all. It was like a 2-3% drop as such. Right now, that means that that was again a valuation for us, saying, okay, we have hit the right card with marketing, with whatever that we have done till date. So we have reached the right users, and the right users are using our app. And then post COVID again, we saw the biggest jump. I'd say not post COVID, post lockdown. So post lockdown, textile, automobile, electrical, all these games, came out, and we have doubled upon the numbers there. So we saw the biggest jump in app adoption as such. So I guess, if at all you look at the merchant base as such, right? We have almost covered 95% of the districts in India. So we have users from almost all the districts in India that you could think of. And yeah, that's a journey at Khatabook. That's how it has been. And, I guess kudos to the team as such. I guess the more, on the marketing side of things, whatever that we have done, it has purely been insight driven, and top management has given us leverage, or as a freedom, I'd say, to make sure that we do whatever that we want, but at the same time, we just hit the numbers. So that's how we have been taking things up.
Sure, definitely.
No, definitely, Harish. I think it's been a pleasure working with you as well. And, I think that freedom which you discussed, I can see that in the culture which you all have at Khatabook itself, along with the team.
Yep.
So I think what we really wanted to understand, Harish, while you highlighted the journey which had great scale at Khatabook, there's also been a lot of retention on the app. So what we wanted to know was, could you highlight some of the key game changers that aided this?
I think there are a few, definitely. So number one would be the localization, right? Localization for an app is pretty important because, ideally for all, you look at the last census as well, right? Around 53% of the users, or of the people in India have Hindi as a primary language, right? Now rest 50% is huge if at all you think about India as such. Now that's where localization played an important role, and localization is something that's being done by every app right now. But ideally, having a language expert for each and every language in house, and giving them the ownership, saying, hey, you own the language, whether it's marketing, communications, whether it's in the app or whatever that is there. So we just have I think localization is something that we cracked very early, and that has helped us in a lot of app adoption and engagement as well, right? So I think engagement as such, I think we can break it down at a lot of stages of business. So initially it was happening, it was more localization. And then in between, when, for example, during COVID times, right, we came up with a couple of features called as quiz within Khatabook. And then, we brought in something like Khata Learn again, where, you give relevant content to your app users and make sure that they they stay engaged within the app, right? It's not just doing the danda as such. Now how do you make sure that people stick to the app? And also, not to forget, we, more than fintech, we call ourselves as a utility app, right? So utility as such is a case where it's a high it's a high engagement app in general, and that's what we have seen till date. The number of sessions that we have per user is also pretty high when you compare with any other fintech players around. So I guess that's what the initial thing has been, localization, and then coming up with a lot of engagement features within the app, and then few other game changers as such, if at all I could talk about at a marketing standpoint, is making sure that we leverage both agency and the publisher to a very high extent, right? It's not like we just give it to agencies and agencies execute for us and then make sure that they deliver the numbers. It's making sure that there's a tri-party feedback that's happening, and then how much of data that we can give them. I think data drives a lot of things in marketing, and data as well is a very key game changer for us. And having the right metrics, tracking the right metrics at the right time, and making sure that you innovate there as well, right? You might have a proxy metric, for example, at some point of time. And then when you look at an app engagement, there should be another metric that you should be chasing, and making sure that, each and every team gets aligned is very important as well. So if at all you think about Khatabook as such, Khatabook is product plus tech plus marketing driven. Now it's not just marketing in the end, it's making sure that, each and every team is aligned to one single primary goal, whether, it's building the app, building the product, or building a specific feature, or marketing that specific feature. So everybody needs to be unilaterally aligned and and make sure that we chase that metric, and then we get it done. So I think these are the few key game changes that I could think about.
No, absolutely, Harish. I think that's very insightful on the game changers. In terms of branding versus performance, how do you see that during the hyperscaling journey? When did you all decide, okay, it's now time to spend some effort and investments in the branding side as well?
Okay. So I think that came in early 2020, I'd say. I think we have been totally performance driven in whatever that we do. That's how we were able to reach the scale at which we are right now. But at some point of the time, the something that's very good about Khatabook is also that we keep talking to our merchants, right? It's like always the first party data that we have is very important, but at the same time, having that personal connect with your merchant is also very important. Certain decisions, most of the decisions are data driven, but at some point of a time, you have to, take call based on whatever the feedback that you get directly from the app consumers. So that's when, even if so some of the, very good insights comes from this option called as others whenever you send a survey to users. So you know for a fact that you have 4 or 5 options that you have in mind, and you just put it in the survey, and then you always give others as an option. And others is actually a place where you get to know a lot about what users need actually. And that's when something that we as a company wanted to do, plus something that aligned with our consumers as well, is that there is a trust gap that is always there when it comes to fintech. Now, how do you bridge that trust gap? So that's very important for us. So we can come up with multiple communication. We can get users with multiple publishers, multiple channels that are performance driven. But when it comes to building the trust on a brand, you have to build a brand first for that. And now, how do you build a brand? And that's when we thought, okay, maybe we can come up with a proper brand campaign that talks about the brand, but at the same time, it's a very, very niche audience that you're talking about, right? Not niche, I'd say. It's just that if you look at the most of the users that we have in Khatabook, right? More than 60%, more than 50% of our users, more than 40% of our users are from tier 1 cities and things like that, and more than 60% of our users are from tier 2 and beyond. Now, you can't, I don't think that there is a lot of things that you could talk between performance and brand, that kind of a scenario, because these users I'd say internet age is not more than 3 or 4 years. They came into digital space, or they started using internet just because of the geo revolution. Right now, how do you communicate to that brand? I mean, how do you communicate to the user saying, hey, you are a brand, you are a trusted brand? And that's when we thought about, maybe we should have a brand ambassador. And that's how things evolved as a brand. And I think still, being a digital first company, we always think about, brand as well on a digital first level. We have never been offline, maybe a couple of experiments here and there, but, we have stayed as a brand, who are predominantly online driven. And I think performance and brand as such, we see, when you are purely digital, right? When it comes to brand, that impacts performance as well. You know for a fact that it impacts. And brand as such is it's not like, it has an impact right away, right? But at the same time, it's a long-term thing. And at the same time, you also see on the fact that, when it comes to performance, you see a delta a little bit. When it comes to app engagement, whenever you are doing re-engagement campaigns a lot, you see that, the adoption is pretty higher than when you compare it with, pre-brand campaign and things like that. There are small cues that you see. And that's how we say that, we measure brand campaign apart from all the studies that we do. So yeah, it's been overall pretty good journey on both brand and performance, I'd say.
Right. No, I think definitely, and we'll come to the branding part in more detail as well shortly, Harish. Before we move there, I think one of the innovations also from Khatabook, I think a lot of other businesses which had targeted the Kirana stores and small business owners had hired very large sales teams to go door to door, right? Whereas at Khatabook, and the team decided to go digital first, by and large, digital only itself, right? Like very limited sales team. So how did you all take that call in terms of hyperscaling and, acquiring all these users digitally?
I think a few things there, right? Uh, it's just that, like each and every player in the market has the same publishers and same agencies. It's just that how do you leverage them, right? That's where, like for us, content and creative, I'd say, has been uh, you know, uh, has been the major driver of things. So if at all you look at certain creatives that we have made and, like at a scale at which we have made, I don't think a lot of brand managers would approve the creative. So, those kind of creatives, when it's actually making sense, I mean, it's actually working cross channels, we should definitely leverage it and then make sure that, like we leverage the publishers as well, right? If at all, if one particular publisher's creative is working good at one single place, like we were, like brave enough to try those creative in other platforms and see if at all that's working out. And then if it's working out, we double up on it. And with a lot of experiments that we have done as well, right? We were never, like we never shy away saying, like, let's not try something, like that's new. So I think that's where major, like changes happen, I would say. And it's more of a content and creative, I'd say. And apart from that, as I said, publishers are same for everyone. It's about how you leverage that publisher. And at some point of a time, with certain publishers that we have worked with, we actually made them believe that those, like those kind of, publishers or those kind of ad network or, ad servers can give performance driven results as well. So, we have worked with a lot of publishers like that, at least a couple of publishers that I could think about. So yeah, that's how it has been.
Definitely, Harish. Actually,
Understood.
interesting question that we had was more toward the brand element. So while we know that MS Dhoni is the brand ambassador for Khata Book, wanted to know a little bit more on the process of how did you narrow down on him as the brand ambassador? And also, how much do you think that a brand ambassador impacts the positioning as well as the brand pull as such?
Sure. So I think zeroing down to Dhoni was majorly because of what we need to drive as a brand, right? So we know for a fact that we want to build a trustable brand. So especially being the player who's coming for the first time in this place, right? Space, I'd say. Like replacing the traditional Bhai Katha with a digital ledger. And if at all you look at like a Bahikata, I don't think even merchants will actually share that data or information within their family, right? It's so personal to them. Now, how, like how do you expect them to come online with this, like with this kind of scenario, right? So that's what we happen to drive majorly on the performance side of things. And when it comes to brand, we want to build the trust factor saying, hey, your data is safe with us. Like this is a trustable brand. We are here to stay. And, like you have a lot of, like advantages choosing Khata Book over any other players, any other fintech players, right? Like we are here to, like make your life better. That's what we wanted to convey as a brand, as a trustable brand. So that's when we were thinking about a lot of people from Bollywood and, like other places. And at the same time, if at all we look it that way with the kind of users that we have, right? So as I said, if at all you look at the language adoption as such, it's pretty high with Khata Book. So more than 40% of our users use it in their native language. Now, ideally keeping that in mind, let's say, like we take a Bollywood celebrity, how do you cater to the, other audiences in India? So these kind of questions is something that we asked ourselves. And, like when you are looking for a trustable character, plus, like someone who has the mass connect and who's also someone who came from a place like Jharkhand, or a place where there was no cricket at all earlier, right? So now keeping those things in mind, like Mahi was the exact connect that we could think of, and that's how we approached Dhoni as such. And even when it comes to making creatives and stuff, we were clear of one thing, like Mahi needs to be the merchant character, because that's how we want to communicate. Like merchant is a hero for us now. That's how we build the entire narrative as well.
Sure, Harish. Yeah, very interesting actually. I want to actually play one video which you created for the brand itself and maybe one influencer video. And then we could discuss how we narrow down on not just a big brand ambassador, but also minor and micro influencers as well.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I lost you there.
Sorry, I said, could I play a video like the one of the brand videos we made for Dhoni,
Sure.
as well as one of the influencer videos, and we can discuss maybe macro and micro influencers and how both play a role.
Definitely.
Yeah. I'll just share my screen now.
I think the audio is not clear, Satika. Maybe I can play it from my system.
Oh, okay, sure.
I think, Sunil, there is still a problem with the audio, if I'm not wrong.
सरमाने का दवा तो कोई है नहीं, लेकिन उधार वापस लाने का फार्मूला है क्या?
Yeah,
it's started trailing from the खाता बुक डाउनलोड करिए, ये उधारी का रिमाइंडर भेजिए और उधारी वापस लाए। शर्मीले शर्मा जी।
पेन किलर, ईयर ड्रॉप, नोज ड्रॉप, आई ड्रॉप, बस बाद में।
अब क्या कहें, उधार के लिए ससुरे नाज ही नहीं कह सकते। मना करने का मन तो बहुत करता है, पर फाइनली शर्मा जी शर्मा जाते हैं। वापस लाने का फार्मूला है क्या? कैसे? अरे वही खाता आउट करिए, खाता बुक डाउनलोड करिए, कैसे आ गए? खाता बुक बिजनेस हुआ इजी।
Excellent. Just play one of the influencer videos as well. Is the audio fine now?
Yep.
हाँ भैया, मन खत्म हो गया है, हिसाब बता दो जल्दी।
एक सेकंड मैडम, आपका टोटल हुआ है 4,500 रुपए।
पर मेरी खाता बुक ऐप में तो 5,000 हो रहा है। क्या भैया अपना नुकसान करा रहे हो? जल्दी से चेक करो।
एक सेकंड मैम, मैं चेक करता हूँ। हाँ 5,000 ही बता रहे।
क्या भैया आप भी इस डिजिटल की दुनिया में इन पेपरों के सहारे रह रहे हो? आपको पता नहीं खाता बुक ऐप प्राउडली मेड इन इंडिया है। जल्दी से आप भी डाउनलोड करो और इस नुकसान से बचो। रोज की उधारी का हिसाब रखने के लिए खाता बुक ऐप एक सबसे आसान ऐप है। सो गो एंड डाउनलोड खाता बुक ऐप, create your own personal खाता books to be managed. उधार लेन-देन from your friends and family members as well. WhatsApp payment reminders to your customer है।
बिल्कुल मैम, मैं अभी डाउनलोड करता हूँ।
और आप लोग क्या देख रहे हो? आप लोग भी डाउनलोड करो खाता बुक ऐप।
Wait.
Yep.
So I think Satika was asking on the macro versus micro influencers, right? How have you seen that play off? You know, has and which part of the journey do you use which influencers? I think that also.
So I think it's more about having the direct connect with like the merchants that you talk about, right? So here, instead of having a like as you said, having that sales team going and talking to them, now what if you could find a known face to these people, and then start using them and then using their creative to like drive performance, right? That's what I think we leveraged at a like a good scale, I'd say. And that's how we approach micro influencers, right? Micro influencers, as for example, if at all you take a city like Bangalore or Chennai, there are few micro influencers who are very I mean like they know the nuances better. for that particular city, the way they want to communicate. So what sticks to those kind of people, and I think that's what we took leverage on, and like, and these creatives that we made were totally performance driven because it has a direct connect, and at a macro level, it's about registering the brand at top of the mind, right? So I think there, like it would be, instead of going more granular, talking about features and, like going deeper into the app layout and screens, we made sure that, like we use, like we narrate a communication that, like almost communicates everything that needs to be communicated in a granular manner, but at the same time, at a very subtle and, like enjoyable way as a brand. So now that's what sticks when you use a macro influencer or a brand ambassador like Dhoni. So yeah.
Right, Harish. And on the micro influencers, like, has that been a part of like your strategy to like connect with consumers, like in terms of
so
focus?
I'd say it depends on the brand in the end, right? So I think with the kind of TG that we have and TG that we want to communicate to, I think micro influencers was one of the easy way to go there, and that's what we leverage. And I think it's a call by a brand plus their TG that they have, saying like whether they want to leverage these kind of creators and like how they want to move forward. But with our TG, I think this was one of the game changers.
Right. I don't think before Khatabook any other brand had used vernacular influencers at that scale, right? I think even FMCG and those had used it more for the branding side, but not at the scale to really connect with millions of Indians across Bharat.
Agree.
So actually, having worked with the Khatabook team, I personally know that we do follow a lot of the iterative approach. But if you can throw a little bit of light on how you select channels, right? Well, there's Facebook, there's Google. We were earlier quite big on TikTok. So, and a host of affiliate networks as well. So how do we really narrow down which channel will give us the impact that we're looking for?
I think, as I said, right, like apart from having a direct metric by running ads in multiple publishers, multiple channels, it's about having a proxy metric within your business and then keeping track of it. So, like in our case, for example, let's take if a user is doing, like 5 to 10 transactions within a week since he got onboarded, we know for a fact that the user is going to stay at least for the next 3 months, and there is no need of him being re-engaged through any other marketing channels as such. So, so we had this proxy metric of 5 to 10 transactions, for example. So there's not the exact one that we have, but I'm just giving you a proxy metric. So ideally, we try with multiple publishers that we want to work with, and then see which one is giving this kind of results, right? It's not just about Khatabook as such. We have multiple features within our app now. So say someone who is getting adopted for payments, and we have an internal, a score that we give for each and every users as well, saying, like what kind of users generally get converted for other features. And when it comes to other feature adoption, like what is it that, like the major number that we need to look at. And based on that, we take a lot of decisions. So I think we generally want to work with as many publishers, as many ad networks that we can, and then whichever is giving us better results at a good cost, we then double upon there. And then comes the creative part of things. So ideally, it's like experimentation initially, and then and again, the other important part is being very open to the publishers that you guys that we are working with, right? We're just like giving them the right data points, being transparent, saying, hey, it's not working out now. Like what are all the other options that we have? So something that like in recent times that we have been doing is like leveraging OTT for performance as well, right? Earlier OTTs never used to give performance as such. So it's more of a brand medium. So nowadays, since like a lot of people have adopted digital mediums, like OTT has been scaling, and the next big thing is that like how you can leverage all these OTT players and then make sure that like you get a good performance out of it, and then have a proper business made from there. So yeah, I think that's how we approach working with multiple publishers.
Thank you, Harisha. That was quite insightful. We had was with the introduction of new apps, like we have Bookawang, which is tapping into a completely new market, or we have MyStore, which is targeting a similar TG, but it's a completely new offering. So if you could tell us a little bit on the thought behind these apps and how does that thought become the app itself?
Okay, so see, as a company, we do a lot of research and come up with a lot of MVPs around based on like our first party data and our calls with our merchants, and then we prioritize things, right? That's how MyStore came into picture, and the next big thing that we will be coming up with would be on a lot of on the sides of financial services and commerce. So these are the two major categories that we want to concentrate on, and we have been researching on. And based on the data points that we have, and when it comes to Bookawang again, right? It's a new market altogether now. We saw a very good initial traction, and then we said that okay, now we need to double upon a lot of things there, come up with a separate product altogether. Because Khatabook being, earlier it was available all over the world, right? We had a very good chunk of users who were using away from India. Now, based on those kind of data, plus, how the market is, in that particular country, wherever that we want to explore, we combine those insights and then see what good product can be made. And then we generally keep researching and developing MVPs and testing out. So yeah, that's a way forward for us.
Right, Harish. And do you want to share, you'll also use the strategy of testing out MyStore as a separate app. So in terms of overlap of customers, I do know the data, but even for the participants, in terms of how do you drive adoption for a new product in your existing user base, you'll have been very successful in doing that. So any insights over there would be very interesting.
Sure. I think, so when it comes to MyStore again, right, the best thing about MyStore is how simple the onboarding of a merchant or a shopkeeper is, and then how easy it is for them to create catalogs. So ideally, if at all you want to look at someone like Shopify, for example, you need to know how to operate a computer. Now, ideally, we want to come up with a simplified version of Shopify, which can be used by, across all, length and breadth of India. So that's the idea. And when it comes to, overall, the insights that we get from our consumers as well, right? It's a combination of a lot of things. They want invoicing, they want, payment collection at one single place. And, how do you reconcile your data of, payments, QR payments, payment links, plus your ledger transaction and all these stuff. And ideally, it would be too much to handle within one app in the end, right? So you can't just have everything within Khatabook. And ideally, if at all you want to experiment, it needs to be a separate app altogether. So that's how we started with it. And as I said, each and everything that we do comes from our consumers, right? That's how we take up things, and that's how we prioritize. And overall, we were able to leverage a good scale when it comes to our internal Khatabook users as well. They, their adoption is pretty good when you compare to any other users that we get outside. And overall, at an organic level as well, I think we are able to scale it up as much as we can.
Right, Harish. No, absolutely. And in terms of yesterday also, we had, Daman from both, having a separate session on metrics. And we were discussing on true north metrics, what is the one or two key metrics which a business needs to constantly monitor. So at Khatabook, what is the philosophy on metrics you follow? And what are the key metrics you'll look at?
So I think we look at, as a core ledger, right? It's about transactions in the end. We look at monthly transacting users, and apart from that, how do you keep engaged with these users using multiple features within our app that we have? So average sessions per users becomes very important for us. being a utility app. So monthly transacting users is very important. And apart from that, we have a separate use case altogether, right? So when you compare to any other QR business that is there right now, so it's a reversal of things that we do generally. So for us, core use case will still remain Khata book, and any payment will be payment, and like payment stack that we build will be a feature over and above Khata book. That's how we want to take things up. So that's how we'll be proceeding further as well. So I think when it comes to payment, again, like QR payments, average transaction per user, what is the transaction bucket size, and then number of transactions that's happening overall. So all these are the metrics. So yeah, core metrics would definitely be around, like a monthly transacting users. That's what we'll be chasing going forward, and maybe leverage that with our re-engagement campaign as well.
Right, Harish. And does that, in your experience, change over time as well, or those core metrics like stay constant during the journey of a startup?
So I think it should not ideally change, but I think it changes based on the category of business, right? So certain people, for example, would like to do transaction monthly once, like they write it down and then keep it and then just put it on digital medium so that they have a track on their phone. And certain people, certain category of business do it in, like at that moment itself. And certain people, like do 3 days once, certain people do 1 week once. So it's like, when it comes to frequency as such, I think we don't have definitive answers there, but we do have some insights on how category adoption is actually driving these kind of frequency metrics. So that's how we would like to, like take it up further.
Harish, I think you did touch upon this at the start, but want to deep dive a little bit more on the impact that COVID has had on Khata book. Of course, all of the Kirana store owners either had to shut down their shops, or they were essentially, there's no work from home model for them. So how did it sort of impact the usage of the app, and has it reversed as such?
Yeah, I think we reached a pre-COVID level by August itself. So, I think in between, June, July was, like the lull period for us, I'd say. So as I said, like our DAUs or monthly active users dropped down by 50% almost, but then it just bounced back, and we are, like at a very good trajectory when it comes to growth as such. And overall, as a business, we have been seeing a very good adoption post-COVID, like post-lockdown, I'd say. And we are, like growing as to, like whatever that we are there in March, we have already touched that, and then we have been growing even further now. So overall, a good sign as such. So I think lockdown had an impact on a lot of small business, like a lot of shops got shut. But at the same time, like just because shops got shut, it doesn't mean that, like you don't have a track of transaction that has happened before you shut a shop or something like that, right? So, but ideally we want a lot of users to come back as well. Like I think COVID has hit a lot of us pretty hard. So hopefully they come back into business, because for us, like we are just enabling people who are doing business in the end, right? So, like we want to see these people come back as soon as possible, and hopefully they come back. So ideally, at a business metric level, we are back to whatever that we had pre-COVID, and then scaling up further.
Right. And I just wanted to understand a little bit more. So you mentioned that, of course, there was a lull during the lockdown. So as a business, then how do you respond to that lull? How do you decide that this is our strategy for the next couple of months? And until we see a rise, maybe these are the 5 things that we'd be looking at closely, rather than acquisition full scale as such.
So I think I would say, we as a company were looking at a lot of engagement as such, engagement campaigns or re-engagement campaigns as such. Even before COVID, we thought that maybe mid of this year is when we will be going high on re-engagement, because we wanted to like make sure that we bring back a lot of users who has gone away from the app as well, right? So that's what we were looking at. But during COVID, something that changed would be around like bringing up a lot of other features on the app, right? So something like Khata Quiz, Khata Learn, So these are the engagement feature that we have on the app. So this is like highly engaging feature. For example, is quiz. We have a specific time band where people can play quiz only for like around 3 to 4 hours, and that is actually driving a lot of users into our app. And these are the kind of stuff that we did during lockdown, during COVID times. So I think we, as a like overall as a product, found a little bit of pivot on a like in a different direction during COVID, and at the same time, at the marketing standpoint as well, like we wanted to bring back a lot of users. So post like a lockdown, we went high on re-engagement as well and make sure that we bring back a lot of users who have gone out. And yeah, that has been our strategy. That's when we thought that okay, maybe re-engagement is something that we need to look a lot on, and app engagement is going to be a very important metric that we need to track so that that results later on in the transactions as well.
Definitely, yeah. I think that wanted to know a little bit more about your personal learning. So you started your journey essentially at an ops role at Grofers, and then moved on to BharatPe, and then now at Khatabook. So what would you say learnings that have stayed with you throughout, and now they're like pillars to your strategies or your marketing strategies as such?
So I think personally, I'd say like I'm very lucky to have that kind of a journey for me in whatever that I wanted to do. So as you rightly said, I started as an ops guy in Chennai, and there used to be a time where like I used to deliver in my car in my boats during Chennai floods. So that's how my journey started, and it's about like giving 100% to whatever that you are doing. At the same time, see for new opportunities as such, right? So that's what I like I kept my basics very simple. I wanted to grab the opportunity whatever that I get during any point of time, and that's how I pivoted into marketing after that. I was more into BTL marketing and being in ops. So being in both supply demand side of a business is something that I feel like each and everybody should go through because you get to know the entire business, right? So it's like if at all you want to learn a business, it should always be like bottom to top. That's how you get to know what's happening across organization. And I think my 4 years in Grofers, I'd say it's a university for me personally, just because of the fact that like I learned a lot there, and I got an opportunity to explore different roles. And then I was a little bit into consumer insights and marketing analytics as well there, and then more into brand marketing, brand measurement, and then more into performance marketing or digital marketing, I'd say. So that's how things started. And again, I was very lucky to get an opportunity in BharatPe again, just because, you know, I somehow feel that, like they had the courage of, like exploring someone like me to set up the entire marketing things, right? At that stage, like they were at a very nascent stage as well at the time. And I grabbed that opportunity again and made sure that I could deliver whatever that I could there in the pivot to Khatabook happened. So I think overall, it's like no matter whatever business that you do, no matter whatever marketing or growth initiative that you take, you need to make sure that like the entire stack of business, and that will ideally give you a lot of different trajectories at which you can think or approach growth as such. So I think that's something that I think is very important for each and every marketer or growth person.
Thanks for sharing that, Harish. I think that's on the team as well, right? Like you'll have an amazing team at Khatabook as well, and you obviously even at the startups like Grofers and BharatPe, it's been Power Pack team. So how do you get these Power Pack teams together? In terms of the culture as well. How do you all align on like common ground rules?
So I think it's very important when you are hiring at an initial stage, right? Like having the right culture fit. I think we are glad and lucky enough to have that kind of a team, like at a very initial stage. And I think some way or the other, it's like I don't know. I feel culture fit is something that's very important, and that mindset to learn anything and everything, and then making sure that you take that ownership and driving things is something that's also pretty important at a startup scenario. And good that we got a lot of like-minded people on board, and then things are being driven in a way like in an unprecedented scale, I'd say, at an early stage, like when you have a very less number of employees, I'd say, making sure that, like you're able to outsource things and then give that leverage and finding the right team, for example, working with social beats. So that's something that, like I think we as a company did right. And then that has driven a lot of things for us. So ideally, overall, it's more about, like finding the right culture fit and then someone who's always driven in getting things done, right? So that's what has been very important.
No, definitely. I think for our team also, Harish, like we love working with you and the team at Khatabook. I think make it feel like one team, and it makes it easy to give your heart and soul to the learning and the skill. It's not a task, but more a joy to actually do things there. So I think
Sure.
absolutely. I think just moving on, from the culture part of the team to like working at scale with like marketing automation and various tools which you all also keep like upgrading to, right? So how do you like phase that out, right? In the early stage, should you look at like advanced tools? Obviously there are mobile attribution tools, but even remarketing tools, for example, programmatic. At what stages of your growth journey should you explore more tools, or should you stick to one or two channels and crack that first and then scale up?
So I think that again depends on the product as such. So I'd say for a product like us, we thought, so for a I would say publisher like, for example, Facebook, right? It gives us a lot of like audience insights, and that gives us a leverage of catering to a very like niche or right audience, if at all you want to segment it and use it, right? So I think that's a way to start. I'd say, like going and talking to the exact audience and then making sure that you scale that up. And then in between, like programmatic as such is something that I see as I see more as a brand medium there, because, like it takes its own time to, like learn and then make sure that, like you get to, like find performance out there. But, like I think it's very important to be performance driven at a very early stage. And then maybe think about any I'd say engagement or any anything new that you want to try, right? Like it's just that you need to keep the basics right, and then like go ahead and experiment with a lot of things.
Right, Harish? No, absolutely. I think there are a lot of comments on the videos not being played correctly. So I'll just play that again, and then maybe we can have a final thoughts as well.
Sure.
Hopefully it plays now.
हाँ भैया, मन खत्म हो गया है, हिसाब बता दो जल्दी।
एक सेकंड मैडम, आपका टोटल हुआ है 4,500 रुपए।
पर मेरी खाता बुक ऐप में तो 5,000 हो रहा है। क्या भैया अपना नुकसान करा रहे हो? जल्दी से चेक करो।
एक सेकंड मैम, मैं चेक करता हूँ। हाँ 5,000 ही बता रहे।
क्या भैया आप भी इस डिजिटल की दुनिया में इन पेपरों के सहारे रह रहे हो? आपको पता नहीं, खाता बुक ऐप प्राउडली मेड इन इंडिया है। जल्दी से आप भी डाउनलोड करो और इस नुकसान से बचो। रोज की उधारी का हिसाब रखने के लिए खाता बुक ऐप एक सबसे आसान ऐप है। So go and download खाता बुक ऐप and create your own personal खाता books to be managed. उधार लेन देन from your friends and family members as well. सिर्फ यही नहीं, इससे आप सेंड कर सकते हैं WhatsApp पेमेंट रिमाइंडर्स टू योर कस्टमर्स। इसमें ऑटोमेटिक सिक्योर ऑनलाइन बैकअप की भी फैसिलिटी है।
बिल्कुल मैम, मैं अभी डाउनलोड करता हूँ।
और आप लोग क्या देख रहे हो? आप लोग भी डाउनलोड करो खाता बुक ऐप।
No, that's great. I think a lot of English as well, right? Just to connect with the users, combination of Hindi and English, which makes it very informal and easy for a person to understand as well. You don't need a PhD degree to get that. So
Exactly. I think that's the kind of audience that we cater to as well in the end, right? So yeah, that's what has helped us, and doing this in almost all the languages that you have in the app. So that's pretty important as well.
No, thanks, Harish. I think it's been a very interesting session on hyperscaling. As we wind up, any final thoughts on mistakes like folks should avoid while hyperscaling, or any one learning which you would like to share with them before we wind up?
I think there's nothing specific that I could think about right now, I'd say, but it's just that like believe in like your insight that you have, and then make sure that you keep working on that part. I don't think that like that I never like believe on this concept called as hacking, growth hacking and things like that. It's just about getting your basics right and making sure that you believe on that and then keep going with that. So I think that's how things needs to move on.
No, definitely. I think from my side, from our session, one learning was definitely that product, tech, and marketing have to really work very closely with one single goal, and also get the team right with the right culture. I think we have seen that by working with you and the team at Khatabook. I think, we work with like a lot of companies, right? The culture at Khatabook in terms of speed and scale and experimentation, I think it's unprecedented, and that's definitely a key driver of success. I'm sure Satvika will also agree with me.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I think that just to add on, like I think the team at Khatabook ideally always empowers us to experiment, which is something that we don't get a lot, especially working with a bunch of clients. Khatabook always is experiment first and definitely marries product, tech, and creative. And personally, working with Harish has been great as well.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. I'd say it's been a pleasure working with you guys as well, and let's keep scaling up.
Thank you so much, Harish. Really nice of you to take out time. I know Ved also supposed to join us, and I think he's entering his break, but it's really nice to have you. Thank you so much. Look forward to
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
See you. Bye.